Welcome to the Business of Dance podcast, where you'll learn what it takes to create your dream professional dance career.
Join us as we dive into the insights and experiences of the world's top dance industry professionals, including dancers, choreographers, agents, casting directors, educators, and other dance industry experts.
We explore a diverse range of topics, from personal development and mental skills to audition techniques, creating meaningful industry connections, social media marketing, seeking out dance agents and casting opportunities, on-the-job etiquette, talent unions, pitching to the media, health, finances, and so much more.
Here is your host, Menina Fortunato.
Well, I'm really excited to introduce you to today's guest. He is someone that I've known for many, many years. We haven't seen each other in the flesh in a while, but he is from the UK. He is an award-winning choreographer. He's also worked in casting. He's worked with some of the biggest creatives in the world, and he won from Matthew Bourne, Arlene Phillips, Andrew Lloyd Webber, Joel Schumacher, Peter Darling, Ashley Wallen. He's shared the stage with many stars like Carrie Ellis, Idina Menzel, Adam Cooper, Miriam Margolyes. I'm totally slaughtering that. Adam Garcia. He also worked recently this year as a casting specialist with Simon Cowell on Britain's Got Talent. He's the only teacher in the world that has actually taught on both reality shows of Dance Moms with Abby Lee Miller, and Dance Moms UK with Jennifer Ellison. He has also been a finalist on the Top 20 series, So You Think You Can Dance, and Got to Dance. And before this, he had flourished career in London's West End, but not before gaining his first job at 19 in Matthew Bourne's Swan Lake. He was appointed as dance captain for Grease, the musical in the UK, and the European tour, choreographed by Arlene Phillips. He's also part of the original cast from London on the West End from the musical Wicked. He was also part of the English National Opera Kismet, London Coliseum, Cabaret musical, Lyric Theatre by Javier de Fructos. He's been a featured dancer on Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera, the movie, directed by Joel Schumacher and choreographed by Peter Darling, and most recently started a new dance program with Acosta Dance Foundation, founded by ballet star Carlos Acosta, called Elite Associate. Also this year, he choreographed the music video, The Blossom and the Mountain, which has been nominated all over the world in film festivals and has won awards. Without further ado, please help me welcome Ryan Jenkins. Welcome. There.
Hello.
Good to see you, my friend. It's been a few years.
It has indeed. It probably was Move It before that thing we don't talk about, the big C, COVID.
Yes. So I have to share that story because it was a moment in time. So way back when, I used to produce an event called the London Spring Tour, and I used to bring dancers from North America to a big event called Move It. If you're not familiar with it, it's probably the biggest dance convention expo in the world. They average between like 30,000 attendees. So Friday, the world was starting to go crazy and decided to shut down. The event decided to cancel hours before it was supposed to start. Thousands of people from all over are already in their hotels. Booths are set up. We're ready to go. And there was no event. So we happened to be at the same hotel, and we ran into each other in some lounge area by the pool. And we were like, what are we going to do? So we decided to do an impromptu Q&A panel with him and my clients and Swoosh and Rick Tija from Cirque du Soleil and Michelle Zeitlin. And we just did an impromptu panel discussion in the middle of the hotel lobby. And they were all headliners for Move It. So we're like, well, if Move It's not happening, we're just going to do our own thing. And so we did. And then the whole world really shut down after that. And I don't think I've seen you since then in the flesh, other than online. So it's been a minute. And anyways, really excited to have this conversation because I know some of you have an interest in classical dance. Some of you have an interest in musicals. And we're going to talk all those things. So Ryan, let's start at the beginning because I don't know this story. How did you get started in dance? When was that? What did that look like? Give us the back.
My starting dance was really, really late. I went to something called Stagecoach, which is a singing, drama and dance. And I wanted to do the acting. Went into this first dance class and the teachers, we're going back a few years here, guys. So it was a bit more old school pop. And I was moving around dancing, learnt this routine. And the teacher said, come into the center and do it on your own. And I'm quite confident as a kid. So I went in and danced and everybody ran up and said, wow, you're so good. Where do you dance? And I said, this is my first dance class. And it was one of those epiphany moments in life. I went, I think this is my thing. I think I finally found it. Because before this, I had tried everything, tennis, rugby, sailing. So it started around 14 years old. Okay. And then I went to every ballet class you could think of to catch up. And then at 16, moved to London and went to Bird Conservatoire College and started my training to be a dancer.
Well, that's a late start, but I feel like I've heard this story with male dancers. Female dancers generally don't start this late, but male dancers have this gift of being able to play catch up. And okay, so then you're at Bird College, you graduate from their program, then what happens?
It's a bit of a Billy Elliot story. So if you know the movie, my first job was Matthew Bourne's Swan Lake. Like in the movie, like the boy goes off to ballet school and then you see him running on the stage to do the big jump, which was Adam Cooper. I was lucky enough to do Swan Lake with Adam Cooper from the Billy Elliot movie.
Amazing. Now, at that point, was ballet your main focus or were you in musical theater yet?
It was musical theatre, but the training that we had was very strongly focused on ballet technique and contemporary. And Matthew Bourne's is not really a ballet company. It's more of a neoclassical contemporary rep company.
Oh, okay. Now, for those that don't know what that is, can you describe that?
It's a fusion, I would say, of ballet and contemporary with a lot more gestural movement and stuff. So you're not doing your chassé pas de bourrée, pirouette, tour en l'air. It's storytelling through movement.
Okay, amazing. Now, what point did you transition into doing the musical theater? Like you said, your original cast member of Wicked. How long ago was that?
Oh, we're pushing the boat here now. So I think Wicked is about to hit its 25th anniversary next year, or 20th anniversary. So it was about 20 years ago.
Wow. And what role did you play and how was that experience?
So I originally didn't get it. So I was on tour with Breeze Musical and I had auditioned for Dirty Dancing, the original cast, and for Wicked. I went through all the rounds and then I got told a no for both of the jobs. There's a little story here, so go with it.
Yeah.
So I was unemployed. I'm working in Selfridges in London. And I was a spritzer boy, which is spraying the perfume. And I think this is an inspiration for anyone who's having a hard time. Follow this bit of the story because I was out of work. I had nothing going on. And then all of a sudden, my life in the space of about 2 or 3 weeks completely changed. Get a call from my agent and she says, we've got you a job for a Bollywood movie in India, but you need to go in 2 days. And I was like, I'm done. Perfume bottle down, grab my passport, we fly to Mumbai. So I'm filming this Bollywood movie. And then while I'm there, I get another call. And she says, when you land on Sunday night back at Heathrow, we've got you a TV advert for a body wash called Sanex. So you're going to go straight into filming for 3 days. So I'm on the set filming this TV advert. And then I get this call from my agent. And he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm hiding in the car park. He's like, why? And I said, we're in a water tank and everyone's shivering cold. So I put my robe out and went and hid. And he said, I need to talk to you. It's really serious. And I said, Wicked are in the previews and a guy has broken his ankle. Wayne Salento, the choreographer, has been auditioning every boy in London and he doesn't want them. He keeps asking for you. And I went, okay. And he says, you've got it. You start tomorrow. So the next morning, I go straight to rehearsals with Wayne Salento and the dance captains. And I learned the show in 3 days and I made my West End debut. Never met the cast, never tried a costume on, didn't even know half the lyrics. And that was the start of the Wicked journey.
Well, that's a wicked story. Wow. To go from Spritzer Boy to Mumbai to a commercial and then making your West End debut all in a span of a few weeks.
And it's one of those, just never stop believing in yourself. Like I always think of life's a bit of a roller coaster there. We have moments where we're flying high, but there's always going to be a dip. And you just got to coast along with that dip and know that it can catapult you straight back up if you stay confident, stay happy, and believe that you are worth the challenge and you are going to succeed.
I love that. That's a beautiful story. Now, how long were you a part of the Wicked cast?
I did it for a year. And then
Okay.
while I was in the show, I had something called a betterment clause. So I was able to go and join, because I was called a vacation swing, which I think you have on Broadway, but they'd never done it in London, which meant I was employed to come in a few days a week because the gentleman that hurt his foot came back in and I would dip in and out. So it meant I could go off and do other work. So I got an opera with Michael Ball called Kismet with English National. And so I was doubling up on the show. Another story here. So I was doubling up doing Kismet some nights a week and some nights I was doing Wicked. And then I got offered Cabaret in the West End, which had just won the Olivier Award for choreography.
Wow.
And I said, do I stay with Wicked or do I join this show, Cabaret? And I went, I'm joining Cabaret. So I was the first person to ever be contracted by 3 West End musicals. I was rehearsing Cabaret in the day and then either performing Kismet or Wicked. And when we say tired, you'd never experienced anything like it in your life. Trying to remember all the harmonies, all the choreography. It was insane. But yeah, that was wonderful, a wonderful time.
Well, that's a blessing as well to be blessed with so many different opportunities all at once. Yes, in the moment, it's probably chaos and you're stressed out and you're fatigued and all the things. But, that's, I think every performer's dream is to be busy like that. So West End obviously was your thing. For how long was that a period of your life?
About 6 years, I would say.
Okay. And then what happened next?
I decided, because when we done Cabaret, I was given lots of solos within the show. And I had decided that I wanted to move in a different direction. And there was all these singing TV shows, Pop Idol, The X Factor. And I always swore, if they do a dance TV show, I'm going to be on it. And so You Think You Can Dance came up. And I was offered season 1, but I couldn't do it because I was choreographing a cruise. My friend was terminally ill. And I'd made the decision to stick by my friends, Anthula and her husband, Vernon, who passed away. So for me, friendship and keeping that was more important than following a TV dream. Thankfully, the producers from the BBC called me up the following year and said, we're doing season 2 and we want you. So it was So You Think You Can Dance.
I love that. So how long ago was that?
Oh, so it would have been after Wicked, probably about 18 years ago now. And they only did 2 seasons here. So yes, I went in, I got the golden ticket and we did boot camp. That was gruelingly hard. You had to be on set for like 9 o'clock and they would teach you choreography and do cuts throughout the day. And obviously it's reality TV. So they're there to push some buttons. Mm-hmm. And I think one night it was streamed. We didn't finish till about 9 o'clock at night. And Nigel Lithgow comes in and goes, I know you're tired. It's been a long day and it's not over. You're going to be put into groups and put into a room and you're going to have to choreograph a group routine through the night.
Yep.
And we did. We were locked in this room and we had to work till 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And then at 8 o'clock, the judges came back on and we had to perform and people were crying. And I went, but that's the drama. This is reality TV, honey.
That's why they do it. They're really testing your stamina because they do the same thing on the American show. They put them through the night and they're just fatigued. And because you're fatigued, your emotions are high, your brain is foggy, you forget choreography, everyone becomes a train wreck. And they're trying to see who has the mental toughness to hold it together.
Get through. And there was a real difference between people who had been in the West End or were in ballet companies, and we had that mental training. We'd been established to not break down as people who do dance a bit more for fun or really good at one discipline and just wanted to be on the show and they couldn't handle it. So, yeah, and then we did live shows. Mandy Moore, who did La La Land, she's massive in America. She was our resident in-house choreographer. So we were working with her, doing all the group numbers and just learning from her, a genius.
Love that. I just interviewed her like 4 days ago at Gala of the Stars because she was honored, forget which category, but with an award for her work on Taylor Swift's tour.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, so You Think You Dance, that's like the ultimate test, mental toughness test. And then did that show lead to anything for you?
which obviously makes you a little bit of a celebrity in the dance world of things. So then I did another show called Got to Dance, and then Dance Mums sort of popped up, shall we say. That started with meeting Abby in London and teaching the girls a little bit. And then I was offered as choreographer on the UK series. And that sort of blew me up in the United Kingdom, doing workshops, training teachers. And it's just a different avenue. I sort of hung the dance shoes up at that point.
Okay. So now you're switching gears into teaching choreography. Is that kind of the lane that you were in that phase of your life?
Yeah, I sort of pulled back on things recently because obviously we had the big C and then I had hip surgery. So I'm sort of taking things a little bit slower. And on Wicked, everybody's wanting me to come and do Wicked workshops for them. So I'm having a wonderful time the last year, traveling and meeting dance schools and dancers everywhere, trying to inspire them, telling them stories and giving them a really wicked experience.
So you still remember the original choreography that you...
Oh, yes. I actually went to watch Matthew Bourne, Swan Lake. And one of my students, Rory McLeod, was meant to be on for Swan, and Jade Copas were in the show. And I was watching it going 1 and 2 and 3. And I was like, I still remember a 2.5 hour contemporary ballet, the whole thing.
Wow. Some things really do get ingrained in you for years to come. Now, what are you working on these days? I know that there's a new program that you are working on. Tell us about that.
So the Acosta Dance Foundation is a new place in London. It was founded by Carlos Acosta, who was a principal with the Royal Ballet. He's a global superstar, and it's about nurturing the next generation of dancers. So we've created with Javier Torres, who's the director, put together something called the Elite Associates, which is for ballet and contemporary dancers, more specialists in that area. And we've got dancers flying in from Ireland to London. They're coming from Scotland. They're coming from all over for this one day of training with us. And we've only just launched it. We've got a great group and I'm really excited for what the next year is going to bring with it.
Congrats. And what is the vision behind all of this? What are you hoping? What is the goal?
The goal is for the students to reach their dreams and their goals and for them to get into the companies and the training establishments that they're wanting to do. So we're there to give them the training and give them the skills that they need, because as dancing's not just about how many turns you can do and how high you kick your leg. It's about teaching them real artistry and how to be present in the room and inspire a choreographer to get that job.
Absolutely. Now, what is the age group that you're working with this program?
We have a junior and a senior. So it's 9 to 12 for the juniors and then 13 to 18 for senior.
Well, that's exciting. And is this a full-time project that you're working on, or how does that work?
So it's once a month. We've just launched it. We're talking about possibly expanding it. I do run a private associate program. So I fly to Scotland and Ireland once a month to train aspiring dancers as well.
Now, I remember, I don't know if you still have it. I remember you had something online not too long ago. Is that still a thing?
Not really. We've let that go now. We've moved on.
Okay. So after the pandemic, we decided we want in person. I get it. I totally get it. Now, looking back at your career, because obviously you've been through highs and lows and ups and downs and worked in different mediums between the ballet world and the theater world and the TV world and teaching and all of that. What is one of the biggest lessons that you've learned when it comes to the business side of dance that you wish you knew when you were younger?
Oh, I would say, one, don't take anything personally. The people stood or sat at that table, your director, your producer, the dance captain, they're there to fulfill a job. And a lot of the time you might not get a job and you think it's because you did a move wrong or something. Half the time it can be that you just don't fit the costumes and they don't have the budget. You might be their favorite. And that was one of the things when I got Wicked was I had to step into Craig's clothing. So as much as there might have been boys in the audition when Wayne was trying to find people, but the costumes for Wicked are about £10,000 for some of the items. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So they needed a boy that fitted the clothes, really. And that's probably the biggest one: is just don't take things personally. Keep pushing yourself, and know that if you're good, you're going to get there in the end.
What piece of work or what job are you most proud of, and why?
Most proud of probably my first job was Matthew Bourne's. It was such an iconic show to be in, and to know that I had been accepted. When I was training myself, my contemporary teachers didn't value my contemporary dance at all, and I wasn't graded very well. I used to fail. I was 1 mark or fail for 3 years in training. So when I got the Swan Lake, it was like, mic drop, boom. Very happy. And just to see a whole new world. So we were living and traveling around the globe, living in just Tokyo in Japan, and they're throwing roses on the stage. There was like queues outside the door. And we were working with like a lady called Marguerite Porter, who used to dance with Nureyev, was there. And we had someone from American Ballet Theatre. Just the standard and work etiquette that was instilled into me after training really set me up for the rest of my career.
Now, one thing you mentioned about grades, because our North American dancers, Canadians do exams, but a lot of Americans do not. Can you explain what system you were a part of? Were you part of RAD, Royal Academy of Dance, or was it another programming?
I did a RAD ballet and then the ISTD jazz. And if I could compare it to, it's a body of work. So it'll be like 10 exercises and a dance. And for a dancer, what it is to do is for an adjudicator to come in and inspect your standard of dancing or what you've achieved over a year. So like you would do an English exam at school, you do a dance exam in each genre. And that's the main way that people are assessed in the UK on seeing that you're progressing in the right way.
Yeah, it's very different. They're very rigid and very strict, and the examiner comes in and there's no smiles and very intimidating. Has that changed at all, or is that still the same kind of energy?
It's a bit stiff still. I like to always tell dancers that getting a job and just getting into your favorite college is not about hitting the moves and being the best dancer. You've got to have something called the likability factor. Is when I was on the panel for casting, say, Grease musical with Arlene, the director was never interested in dancers. He was looking at the people stood around the edge of the room and going, are they stood there with their arms folded? Do they look moody? Do they look grumpy? Or are they the person on the side that's constantly practicing? And he goes, that person's never going to call in sick. They're going to be a good company member. They're going to lift everybody up. He's more interested in that. So you've got to learn as a performer that you've got to be able to walk into a room and give off an energy that people want to spend time with you. And if you're not, you can be the best and grumpy. I'm like, I'd rather take someone not as good that's happy. That I get vibe from.
Absolutely. I mean, that is a very common theme with a lot of our guests, is being a good person in the room sometimes supersedes your technique even. And just being that, somebody that people like to work with, people that they know, like, and trust. And if you're a diva, if you're difficult, if you're dramatic, if you're unreliable, if you're not professional, nobody wants to work with you, no matter how talented you are. So just being a good human I think is really important. I love that you reiterated that. Now, one thing I'd love to touch on, you just worked on Britain's Got Talent in the casting side. Can you tell us a little bit more about your involvement in the show? What did you actually do? Are you still working on it? Is it done? Are you coming back? What's going on with that?
So casting Britain's Got Talent, or even America's Got Talent, is probably one of the hardest jobs on the planet, because you are looking for the best act on the planet. So I had worked on the show many, many years ago, but this time I was coming back in full time to work in the big offices with everybody. I worked on the show for about a couple of months because we're putting the acts together, and then they're currently now doing the judges' audition. So I'm not with it, but I should be back on it for next year. Yeah, it's one of those of how do you find an act which is something new, something we've not seen before. You're looking to inspire the general public, not dancers and choreographers, because it's a generally watched show, because it's a reality show in that respect. Yeah, it was an amazing experience piecing it together. And when you have those telephone calls with people who you found online or have sent an application in, and you just change their world, and they're going, I can't believe we're having this meeting and I'm going to get to come and I'm flying into London. And it was great to know that you can really help make people's dreams come true with it.
That's special. I love that. And I have to ask, how was your experience with Simon Cowell?
I have never actually met him.
Oh, okay. So maybe that's a good thing.
But I hear he's really lovely.
I think he is more lovely now than he was back in the day. Because I did work on the X Factor and he was on the show, but I never interacted with him, but he was there and he actually seemed pleasant. And I was surprised.
Yeah, but he's got a son now. And I think once you become a parent, you loosen up a bit and you have a little, it's a bit calmer.
Yeah, he softened up a lot since his early days. I just wasn't sure if he was his old self or a softer version of himself. Beautiful. Well, I know I could talk to you for days, but we have some Business of Dance mentees from all over the world today. First up, we have Raylyn.
Hi, I'm Raylan. I'm 10 years old. And my question for you is when you're identifying talent for casting, for an example, like on TV or like movies, what attributes or mindset someone apart from others who are similar technical ability?
So I would say it's all about the characterization that the director wants. So you've got to put your mindset in. If you were going for Wicked, you've got to be an Aussian. You've got to think that you are in the world of Oz and you've got to bring that character to life because TV and film is always about being a character, not about the dance moves.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, sweetheart. Next question, Laura Lay.
Hello, my name is Lorelai Bearden. I'm 11 years old, and my question is, what qualities do you try to install in your dancers in your mentor program?
I make sure that I instill them to come in with an attitude that they can succeed and that they will make it. And if you have a happy mindset and you're believing in yourself to further yourself, you will get there. Dance is all about learning. And even as a choreographer, we're constantly learning. So you need to come in the room, be present with that attitude that you're going to learn something today, you're going to succeed. And every step forward is another step to making that dream come true.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Lorelai. Next up, we have Serena.
Hi, my name is Serena Wright. I'm 18 years old from a small town in Texas. And I was curious, looking back across your extensive career, performing, choreographing, and mentoring, what perspective has changed you the most as an artist?
Oh, I would say as we grow, obviously we're constantly evolving and changing. I'm just looking at things in a different way now. So a lot of the time when you're young and you're dancing, you just want to get the dance job and you're trying to get the moves right. And as I said, always try to look at it in the way of a director. What is the overall vision that they are trying to create? Because when you're one component of a machine, if you think of yourself as a little bolt, you've got the costume department, the lighting, the sound, set design. So going in for that, as I've got older, my vision is now working on a higher level. I'm now working with them at the overall vision, not about the steps. And I think the advice for a dancer is try to look at, when you get in the audition room, what are they trying to achieve and how can I help that happen?
Thank you so much, Serena. No, it's so true. I'm glad that you mentioned the bigger picture because honestly, I think a lot of dancers don't even know who the other people are and what their roles are. I never knew what a producer was when I walked in. I was like, who are these producers? Well, what do? They just sit there and watch, not on their computer. But learning the different roles in a production, I think is really a valuable lesson. Go ahead, Gracie.
Hey, I'm Gracie Golden. I'm 21. I live in Alabama. My question for you is, what is something dancers should really know about working on set that you don't learn in the studio?
Working on set. Well, number one, they're very long hours. And there is a lot of sitting around doing nothing. So I remember doing Phantom of the Opera. And my biggest tip was you get more money if you're on screen more time. And also I wanted to be seen. So some people rock up and they just learn the movement and they just go to where they want. I did the same on So You Think You Can Dance, actually. We would learn the choreography and then I would run around to look at the VT screens for the cameras. And I was checking where all the cameras were zooming in. And then I would sort of adjust my move to make sure my head was in shot. And then I would move again. So I'm always looking at where the camera's focused to make sure I can be seen. So one is it's long hours and make friends while you're on set. You've got so much time there to network. And because you could get another audition, another contract from just chatting away to people. And then if you want to be seen and put it on your show reel, there's no point doing a movie and then saying, I wasn't seen, because you don't know what they're going to do in the editing cut. Make sure you're on that camera shot.
Thank you so much.
100%. Great advice. And I did the same thing for my first commercial with Pepsi and Britney Spears. I was looking for that camera and I ended up getting a bump to principal, all because I was holding a Pepsi and doing a little shimmy. And I got a bump. You want to hold the product if you're ever doing a commercial. And if you're the only one in the shot, you can get bumped from group 9 to principal. And that equated to $10,000 more, all because I found the camera and was holding a product. So that is very, very smart advice of making sure that you find the camera, because you're right. You could just be in the performance and then totally get cut because you weren't in the shot. So finding that shot is important. And I love, Gracie, that I totally forgot you were one of the dancers at Move It for that lockdown for that day. Yes, she was one of the dancers that did the London Spring Tour when the whole world just went mad.
Oh.
That was a time. That was a time. So glad you came. All right. Next up, we have McKenna Fucci.
Hi, I'm McKenna Fucci. I'm 13 years old and I currently live in New Jersey. My question for you is, I really would like to be on Broadway someday. Like, I love all the Broadway shows. What's like your best advice I could be on it? Like, what should I do to start?
Number one, singing. If you want to be on Broadway, do you sing?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. So one is, for Broadway, you've got to establish where you're at. Don't always go straight for the lead. You've got ensemble, and the ensemble obviously are going to cover the lead roles. And again, it's all about characterization. If you're doing Grease, the musical, you've got to be 1950s. If you're doing Fosse, it's subtle movement. So do your research on what is the style and genre of the show. Make sure your song is in adjustment with what the show style is as well. Being in the room for a musical audition, don't wear black. I know I am. But always wear color, works better on camera. And when you go in to do the singing part, that is your moment to connect with every single person. So don't just walk up to the pianist with the music. Go over and say to the choreographer, "Hi, I'm so great to be here. I loved your work." Research the director and say hello to them. Give everybody a handshake and make friends with them. Be a fan of the people on the panel, because then when you leave, they're like, "Did you hear? She saw my show and really liked it. Well, she liked my choreography," she said. That's going to be one of those moments they remember you.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love that. Sharing your gratitude and your appreciation for someone's work, that never gets old. Everyone loves to feel loved. It doesn't matter.
We all love a compliment.
Everyone loves a compliment. What do I tell you guys after these Zoom calls to do? I tell them all to go send the guest a DM and share their gratitude and what their big takeaway is. And just dropping that little, and have zero expectations, but just planting that seed and walking away. And you never know. Sometimes that can create.
And on this, as we're saying it, it's the same. I say you can do it without going to an audition on social media. It's following your favorite choreographers, casting directors, and being constantly active and proactive on their social media. If I'm posting something up about my work, that means I'm proud of it. And I want to see those compliments. So you could walk into the room and see me and was like, "I'm I'm always commenting on your posts." And I went, "Are you? I do remember that." I would go through and look. I went, "I like this girl." And then why? I went, "She's always giving me compliments and she's good. We're giving her a job."
So true. That's actually part of one of our lessons inside the program. One of the tips is doing exactly that, where you engage on social media, because I didn't have that. You didn't have that growing up. You had to get in the room to get any kind of contact or communication with someone. Now, thanks to the internet, to social media, you can connect with any choreographer, dancer, director that you want, and engaging with their content. I see people that comment on my stuff all the time, and I recognize those repeated names that are constantly engaging with my stuff. So if someone were to introduce themselves in person, I'd be like, "I totally remember your handle. You always do comment on my stuff." So if there's anyone you want to work with, that's a very good and smart strategy to create that little connection. And you never know when you might cross paths. All right. Beautiful. Thank you so much, McKenna. Next up, we have Miss Jade.
Hello, my name is Jade Robinson. I'm 20 years old. I'm a dancer, model, actress, and inspiring voiceover artist. And my question for you today is, was there ever a time in your life where you felt like you were behind in your career? And if so, what did you do about it?
I think the only thing I felt behind on was I wasn't trained enough in singing. I didn't work hard enough on my foundation. So if there's anything that you go into a room and you didn't feel you could fulfill the needs that was required of you from the director or the producer, is to go away and retrain in that thing. And we all say, like, you like to turn on the right and you like to kick the right leg. Don't. Always practice the other side. Find something that you feel is your weakest and make it to try to match what you're strongest at. So that little gaps are there. And every step forward on something you don't feel confident on, you will feel 100 times more better when you go in the room if you practice it that little bit, because you don't want to have anything that's weak. You want to feel an all-round, strong, confident person.
Yes. Thank you so much. Great meeting you over Zoom.
Thank you
so much, Jade. All right, next up we have Mathieu or Mathian.
Thank you. My name's Matt Sade. I'm 19 and I'm from a small town in Canada. My question for you is, how do you recommend getting on to like Broadway plays? Like, do you getting like those auditions? Cause I want to be on Broadway and I've been working on like being like a triple threat. How do you like get all of that, get those auditions to be on those like plays? Do you just like search, or do you like recommend an agent? Like, what do you recommend?
So an agent is your best way to get your foot in the door to do something. And you have to go for an interview with your agent. And the stronger agents get more people in the room. So once you have that agent and they recommended you for the audition, your foot's in the door. And just having that name above your CV makes a difference, because they go, say, Shirley Armstrong, the agent, but Shirley only has good people on her books. He must be good. And then doing classes as well is a great one. I was in London, so it was Pineapple Dance Studios. But going and doing musical classes, keeping up with my ballet technique, having private singing lessons, going to the theatre, because you want to be involved in the Broadway community. So the more places you can go and connect with people, the more you're going to learn about how to get your foot in the door. Because there will be times you can get an audition without your agent, because it's for a friend of a friend, they need somebody. So agent number one, go and do classes and build yourself up a lovely community of friends within that environment.
Absolutely. And I love that you keep saying making friends, because I love to tell them contacts equals contracts. You are in the people business, and people like to hire those they know, like, and trust. I mean, and that's how Ryan came about. He reached out to me on WhatsApp. I was like, hey, what are you talking about? You want to be on? Okay, cool. There was no job application. There was no audition. Next up, we have Alessandra Fox.
Hi, my name is Alessandra Fox. I'm 12 years old and I'm from Scottsdale, Arizona. I train pre-professionally at Master Ballet Academy, but it's my dream to dance on Broadway or in movie musicals. My question for you is similar to McKenna's, but do you have any advice or direction on steps to help a ballet dancer prepare to transition towards a more theatrical dance career?
Within the ballet world, there isn't that much that you get, that there aren't that many opportunities for ballet dancers. So, but I think Alex Wong, do you know Alex Wong in New York?
Yes.
Perfect example of someone with amazing ballet technique. But what he's done is he's trained in musical theater, and he's learned to be, the key words here for you is dynamic, because a lot of ballet dancers are very fluid within the movement. He jazzes it up. He's gone off and done all those Broadway classes. Choreographers, whether they're street dancers or contemporary or jazz, love a ballet dancer. They love the technique. But if you can bring in a dynamic performance quality, that will really help you in the audition, and you'll probably get a featured solo.
I love that you mentioned Alex Wong. And you know why he's also dynamic? Not just because of his ballet training. He was a tap jazz dancer first. Most people don't know that about him. He didn't transition into ballet until his teen years. And then he transitioned out of ballet again to do more commercial dance and musical theater. And now he's an influencer. He makes more money doing TikToks. You trained your whole life doing all this serious ballet and musical theater and tap and jazz. And now he makes like $100,000. He's made $100,000 on one TikTok video for like 30 seconds.
Wow.
Wild.
But don't aspire just for that, guys, because that's
No,
a
of course
one
not.
hit.
But it's
Get
just-
into Broadway.
It's just amazing how the career can go in so many different directions. But the good thing that he did have is the versatility in training. And when you have that
Yes.
versatility, he can pivot. He can be like, I'm going to do a musical today. I'm going to do a movie today. I'm going to do a commercial today. I'm going to teach today. All right. Thank you so much, Alessandra. Introduce yourself, Maya.
Hi, I'm Maya Cologne. I'm 16. I live in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm currently in Swindon, England, though. And my question is, what has been the most valuable lesson you've learned from mentors or collaborators?
Valuable lesson I've learned. I think it's one of that we're just going to keep reiterating to you again is being present in the room and having that likability factor and coming in, being positive, making sure that you're inspiring everyone behind the panel and making friends. That's the biggest advice. It's just the constant one, because everybody a lot of the time has got great technique. It's not about the steps. It's about bringing the vision to life. And so like when I'm doing rehearsals and I'm really stressed, I'm dealing with the director, the lighting, the sound, costumes. I'm looking at floor work. Then they want to change the music. I've got a lot going on. What I do want is from my team of dancers is that when I walk in, good morning, Ryan. Everything's practiced. I know that they're going to be on time. I know they're going to be in a great mood, and they're going to support me to create the vision from the director and the producer. And it's all from the way you stand in a room and project yourself.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. And next up, we have Kira.
Hi, my name is Kira. I'm 14 years old and I'm from Florida, but I'm originally from New York. I feel like sort of like you, because I started out in like a theater side of the world and I started in like musical theater and singing. And then I transitioned into dance. But as somebody who was in a more storytelling or dance style program, like you were saying, and as a choreographer in that style, is it still more technique based or is it a lot more emotional and like characterizational?
Broadway and West End musicals today are so diverse within the styles that they've got. Street dance is huge at the moment. Like, so that's in Hamilton. But then a lot of, I would say about 50% of musicals now is contemporary choreography. And a lot of the shows are being revamped. So like there's a new version of Cats coming out. Old school musicals are jazz. They're very, very diverse and specific on the style. So it's difficult for you guys now. When Menina and I were younger, it was ballet, jazz and tap. That was it. You've got so much more to learn. But it's, again, going off, you've got so many opportunities to learn different styles online. The classes are up there for you to do it. Just try to get everything in and learn all those basic skills.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kira. Next up, Montserrat.
Hi, my name is Monse. I did have a question. I'm a dancer and a choreographer, and I heard that balancing all the three musicals was really tiring, and I kind of just wanted to take a look into on how you balanced all three and what your schedule was like to split all that work apart and how you made it through all that and successfully did so.
Okay, I'm going to compare it to Anne Hathaway in Devil Wears Prada. You know, when you wake up and you're exhausted, and it was food, music on, going through the lyrics and the harmonies while I'm getting ready. On the tube was, on the underground, was practicing the dance moves. Getting into the studio for 9 o'clock, my body's absolutely aching. And then it was warm up and refocus on what that choreographer wanted. And I probably would finish about 5, half 5, 6. And I used to miss the warm up for Wicked and things. And I would run to the theatre on the underground to grab food. And you just have to turn yourself into a bit of a machine, really.
Yeah.
I didn't really speak to any friends. Because the time I finished the show at 10:30, 11:15, I was then on the tube thinking about what I'd learned earlier in the day from rehearsals. And then it was like, go to bed and just repeat. And you will step up. You always do.
Yeah.
And obviously eating healthy was the big one. There was no drinking, no seeing friends, eat healthy and get into the zone. And you've worked all these years to achieve it. You're living the dream in that moment. But I didn't complain. I wasn't complaining about my body. I was like, you have those moments where you go, why? And I'm like, don't you complain. You've wanted this your whole life. And then you get those moments where the show opens and you're so nervous and you get to that last show and you take that bow and you're like, we did it. I've done it. And you're like, when's the next one?
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you for
I love
sharing.
that.
I appreciate that a lot. It
No
sounds like a lot
worries.
of multitasking for sure. And it's nonstop. Just I'm getting dressed, I'm listening. So
I
understood.
think that's the big thing as well within our industry, because it's always evolving what you're doing. A lot of people who are not in showbiz don't understand how grueling it is, not just mentally all the learning, but the physical way of it is as well. And you've got so much to plan and constantly do, but we do it for that moment to shine on that stage.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And I appreciate you mentioning to fuel your body the right way, because obviously if you don't have time to rest, then you have to make sure you're giving it the nutrients. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No worries.
I love that. And I'm feeling like there's a lot of time management skills that go into a crazy lifestyle and schedule like that. And that I think a lot of dancers struggle with is that time management. Because if you are a working dancer, juggling multiple shows and rehearsals and going back and forth, you have to make sure you know where to be and when, and everything's organized. Otherwise, it can cost you a job.
Yeah, never be the person who's late. Always be the first person there. And I set it up in a class. I said, as soon as I'm going to press play, be ready at the ballet bar. Don't be the last one to be prepped. I said, I don't want to turn around and you're talking. Never be the last one to be ready. Always be the first. Be the most prepared, the most organized. Because as you were saying earlier, the choreographer knows they can trust you. You make my life easy and I'm never panicking.
Love that. All right. Looks like our last question is with Serena and Olivia, our twins.
Hi, my name is Serena. I'm Olivia. And we were just wondering what the biggest thing you learned about yourself throughout your whole career was. Because I feel like dance and performance is a great outlet to learn more about yourself. And you've had such a long-lasting career. So I just want to know kind of what you learned about yourself along the way and kind of how you evolved throughout that process.
Oh, God. Okay, so I've calmed down a bit. We'll start with that one. I was a very hyperactive, energizing person. I think within dance, the jobs I always wanted were the ones I never got. So let's start with Swan Lake. I don't have great feet. So when I went to the audition, Ryan decided to wear tracksuit bottoms, which covered my feet. I got the job, and then you had to wear shorts. And they were like, point your feet. And I said, they are. And they was like, if we had seen them before, you wouldn't have got the show. So the jobs pick you. You don't pick the jobs. And sometimes you'll walk in a room and you're like, this isn't me. I'm not getting this. But give it your all. And what will happen half the time is the job that you didn't think you were right for, they thought you were right for it and they'll offer it to you, which is why I always say, think of what the overall vision is and always look at the director and choreographer of who are they looking at? Who are they having a little talk about? And if they're smiling, then you watch that person because that's what they're looking for.
Absolutely. It is so true. The jobs that you don't even think are possible, you're like, this is not even a thing. That's the ones you book. It's just, I think it's energetically when you come into a room of like, kind of not carefree, but just like no stress because you're like, this is just a free class today. I know I'm not getting this, so I'm just going to have fun here. And that's the one you book. And the one you really, really want, and you're like feeling so desperate with your energy is not the one that you get.
No. And on this, I just choreographed a music video called for a new classical composer, Nick Newton, called The Blossom and the Mountain. And I had this call. And it was like we were going to work in rain machines. There was going to be fire blowing, a water tank. She's going to be falling in. There was ribbon work. And we shot it and it was beautiful. And I didn't really think much of it. And then the last 2 months, we've been in about 20 film festivals around the globe. LA New Film Festival, New York, Tokyo. And then I was in the London Art Film Festival 2 nights ago. We keep winning Best Film Music Video. This, again, project that you think was great, it was fun, it's blowing up around the globe. You just never know what's going to happen in life.
You never know. I love that. Well, great question, ladies. Thank you so much. And that about wraps up our time. However, before we go, dancers, let's show Ryan some love. Show him how we do it. Give our virtual hearts. There we go.
Yay.
Thank you so much. It was so great to reconnect with you and see you at least virtually. I know I can't give you a human hug, but before we go, we have to do you still do your hashtag work it? Yeah.
Oh, the work it, because you're
Can you teach us your hashtag work it? So he has a thing that he's known for. Show us how you do it.
So if you roll onto the hand, so it's a bit of a shape, that's it. And you can do either side, boom. And we like to say work it. It's all about you being fabulous and fierce. And you get in that room, girl, you better work. So we like to say work it because you're worth it.
Because you're worth it.
Yeah.
I love it. Before we sign off, what is the best way for people to connect with you? How can they find you?
Instagram is the best one, at Real Ryan Jenkins.
Amazing. Well, again, such a pleasure having you. All the best and congratulations on your continued success and your evolutionary career that just keeps changing shape, and you keep reinventing yourself and creating new things. And let's please stay in touch. And I hope to see you one day in the flesh when the next time I ever come out to London. And dancers, definitely reconnect with Ryan on his socials. He loves to connect. He loves compliments. Remember that? Show him some love. And bye, everyone. Have a beautiful day or night. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you, Ryan. Bye.
And that concludes another episode of the Business of Dance podcast.
We hope you found today's conversation insightful and gained valuable knowledge.
Be sure to join us next time for more inspiring interviews with top professionals in the dance industry.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to The Business of Dance on your favorite platform and take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback is greatly appreciated.
This podcast is brought to you by the Business of Dance online mentorship program to help aspiring professional dancers create their dream dance careers.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.